Welcome back to Switch to Linux. Well, today we have a different setup here because I received something in the mail today. We have a box. What's in the box? Well, this box would be the PineTab. So I want to go ahead and walk through what we have here. This is not going to be a review of the device itself. It just came in today, so it's too early for that. I just kind of want to show you what it is, how it's packaged, and just kind of talk about a couple of basics first. Now, this is going to be the first build to get a tablet running with Linux, with a pure Linux-based tablet. And so this is still a prototype phase. This is not something ready for the end market, but mostly it's for people, developers and tinkerers and hackers to play around with it, see what we can get. So while I have a nice iPad here, it's not going to be the level of an iPad yet. I do have a nice Samsung tablet here. It's not going to be the level of a Samsung tablet yet. But we do want to have a look at what's inside. Now, what are the expectations before opening this up? Well, I'm one of the last ones in this first batch to receive it, simply because I had to get mine shipped to my post office box. Most other people who did DHL already had it, so there might be some videos online for them. I haven't looked around. I have been poking around in the forums. One of the things I found is I think a lot of people are disappointed. Maybe a lot of these people did not realize that it is not ready for full release. It's less than $200, and it's really designed to poke around with, play around with, and give some feedback. And so that's what we're going to do with a couple of different videos. Right now, we're just going to open this guy up. Now, you can't order them right now. They should be opening up another batch of review devices soon. But if you are looking for one, go ahead and have a look at the forums. There are a lot of people that are selling them because they're disappointed they're not, the iPad Linux version yet. And I don't expect it to be iPad Linux version yet. But let's go ahead and open the guy up. So it did ship to a post office box. It took about 15 or 16 days to get here. And I got it in this nice brown box. So we'll go ahead and open up our nice brown box here. And when we open up our nice brown box, we have a white box. So let's get rid of that box. This one actually contains a device. Again, no branding, nothing out, because it's a development. I'm sure when they release it, they'll take this very simple white box and put their Pine logo on it, maybe some information about the device. But when we open this guy up, we do have a very nice layout up here. I'll kind of walk through what's in here. All right, so inside the box, we have our tablets here. It does have a nice padded box up here, which is something that did concern me, how it ships with the screen on the front. It would have been more secure to ship them with the screen on the back. Actually, I think it did ship with the screen on the back. I think I did open it up. So yeah, it did ship with the screen on the back, which is good. All right, so you got to open this guy up, and here we have our tablet. Now, we'll talk about the build first. The build feels more like one of the cheaper, more generic type tablets. It's definitely not the solid metal. It is really mostly just plastic. The iPad, of course, is mostly metal. The Samsung tablet that I have, it has a plastic back, but it is metal in the bottom. This does not feel quite as stable as all of those. We have a camera up here on the front, and if I can pull up my specs guide here, I'll show you what that guy is. So the front camera is going to be a 2 megapixel. There is on the back a rear camera here, which is a 5 megapixel camera. We have on the top, we have power and we have volume switches. The volume switches are one of the reasons these were delayed in shipping, is because your volume switches were originally mapped backwards. We do have a nice Pine logo down here on the bottom. We have a connection for the keyboard down here. And we have some side ports over on this side. We do not have any ports on the opposite side. So our ports, we have a headphone jack here. We have a power port. I'm a little concerned with this type of power port. I think it would have been better to map like a micro USB or even put a USB-C on it. But maybe they just want to keep the cost down. We have a USB type A port, and it is a USB 2.0. It's not 3.0. We do have a mini HDMI. So if you do want to plug this guy into a monitor, you can do that. And then we do have a micro USB port over here. I did check the schematics, and the micro USB is not mapped anywhere near the power device. So it looks like you cannot power the device off of that. And then there is a little section over here. I've got to lift up to show it to you. Okay, pull this guy out there, and there is a micro SD card slot in here. And there is a little toggle switch in there. I don't see any indication what that is. My guess is it's a read-write toggle switch. So, of course, if you've seen the micro SD adapters, then you will see that it'll have a toggle switch there. All right, I did spring for the extra 20 bucks or so to get the keyboard. So we do have a detachable keyboard down here. And this guy here, the keyboard, I'm a little concerned with the quality of the case. It doesn't seem like it's going to be the best quality overall. But it does look pretty nice. We have our Meta key is a Pine logo, so that's cool to have a Meta key that's not a Windows logo. That's enjoyable. And it should be a backlit keyboard. We'll determine that. We do have some indicators down here on the bottom, scroll lock, caps lock, and number lock indicators. So that is good. We'll go ahead and have a look at how that guy works. It does just do these floppy things for propping it up, and that's why it doesn't feel like it's ultra sturdy to me, but we'll kind of see. The power adapter, as I said, I'm concerned with this power adapter. It is a very proprietary power adapter. It is going to be hard to replace, and as of now, I was not able to find any of these replacements. Now, the Pinebook Pros have a power adapter that looks like this, but it is not the same size port. This is, I believe, a see if they have the specs up here. Yeah, that's 2.5 millimeter by 0.7 millimeter jack. I am really concerned about pushing 10 watts of power through this, and that's what this is calling for. And so that to me is a little concerning. I would like them to see this more on a micro USB, but this is what we have. And as of right now on their website, you can't order these. Although since it's simply USB to this size, you could buy one of these ports and you could map it out to the power terminals on the USB. There'd be documentation online about how to do that. And the only other thing that we have here is going to be a little quick start guide, which you are going to want to read your quick start guide if you're getting one of these, because it does contain useful information like, hey, the first time you boot it up, don't boot it up with your detachable keyboard on it. There were some issues with the detachable keyboard at one point in time, and so we will go ahead and follow those instructions. So let's go ahead and turn this guy on for the very first time. Hopefully there's enough battery power. If not, then I'll just have to charge it up and then we'll restart the video. All right, there it goes. Pine 64, look at that. So these ship with Ubuntu Touch. They are bootable with the SSD card, but as of now, to my knowledge, you cannot put a operating system on the internal hardware, to my knowledge. I will double check that though when we do a more robust follow-up with the video. So you can see it's booting up. It is Ubuntu Touch, which is being maintained by UB Ports. There is some information there on the screen. I'll go ahead and read this to you. All right, so the information on the screen says, welcome to your PineTab Early Adopter Edition. Congratulations on being one of the first people in the world to receive a Pine 64 tab. This version of Ubuntu Touch has several known issues that we were not able to handle before the release. For that reason, it's a good idea to do the following. Remove the PineTab from the keyboard dock if it is attached. Connect Wi-Fi using the next pages of the wizard. Head to the settings, updates, and install all updates. You may need to repeat this step twice in order to receive an update to Ubuntu Touch. This will ensure you have the latest and greatest software. Then you may reconnect the keyboard dock after updates are complete. All right, so the touchscreen should be working. Let's just go ahead and hit the next button down here. And I'm going to walk through the steps. I'm going to set up the device, and then I'll tell you how that device setup went. All right, so just in brief conclusion to the video, like I said, we're not going to do a whole lot more with this device right now, but what I wanted to do is just go ahead, plug it in, get it up online, and run some updates and see what that's going to look like. And definitely it feels like an alpha type build right now. I did have some difficulty getting it onto the internet. The first time it was showing me available networks, it got connected to the internet, but it didn't seem to want to do anything there. This was, some people have said, hey, it needs to be really close to your router to connect in some cases, like less than 7 meters. Went right down to the router next to it, still wasn't able to connect. Ended up putting it up and connecting it on with just a USB Ethernet port is what I did to get it connected on. Ran all of the updates and, so it's all up to date, and there's definitely some things that are not working as well as they should be right now. But what we're going to do here is we'll stop at this point here. You got a chance to see what the device looks like. And I did get the one with the detachable keyboard here, and I'm going to play around with it for the next few days, and then maybe early next week, we'll go ahead and do a little bit more of a review of the system. So then I'll kind of show you what works, what doesn't work, what's good, what's bad, and give you the thoughts and the recommendations and where the project is going. So there it is. There is all of our work on the PineTab, the new PineTab coming out. And I'm excited to see what this thing can do and what it can't do, and we'll keep you up to date from there. So thanks for coming along, and hope that you enjoy switching to Linux. Thank you for watching this video from Switched to Linux. This channel would not be possible without the backing of the program supporters scrolling on the screen now. You can be a supporter at Patreon at patreon.com/TOMM or at thinklifemedia.com. I also want to thank the open source community who creates such excellent software that makes producing this show possible. Please remember to support your software communities. Thank you, and I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux.